Let's read this real quick, shall we? After I read it, I'll discuss. Atari acquires the Intellivision brand, including the rights to more than 200 titles from its portfolio and trademarks. Intellivision Entertainment LLC will rebrand and continue its business of developing and distributing the Amico brand console with a license from Atari to continue to distribute new versions of the Intellivision games on the Amico console. Atari will seek to expand digital and physical distribution of legacy Intellivision games, potentially create new games, and explore brand and licensing opportunities as part of a long-term plan to create value from the Intellivision properties. What console? What fucking console? There's no console. There's a weird app on a fucking phone. There is no Amico. No Amico is coming. The Amico isn't a console and it's not a thing that's coming and it never will come. Stop dangling this little fucking bait in front of people's faces. Stop dangling the carrot. Stop dangling the carrot. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. There is no Amico. It's not happening. There's no console unless somehow Atari magically comes up with the money to go ahead and get a console made. But if they were going to do that, they should just make a traditional console. Something with cartridges. Something like, I don't know, the Evercade Versus. That's a console. It has cartridges and it plays games. If you're going to do some crap like this, if you're going to come in and start saying shit like this, you need to have something like... The whole original premise of the Amico was fucking stupid. Tommy Tallarico is a fucking moron. Alright? He's a goddamned idiot. He's a dipshit. He's a moron. Alright? The original concept for the Amico was stupid. Fucking stupid, man. It was stupid. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know why he thought it was a good idea. He thought it was a good idea, but it's not a good idea. Look, do you think this is a good idea? I want you to tell me what you think right here. Did you think the Amico was a good idea? No. No, it wasn't a good idea. It was a bad idea. Real bad idea. And they were going to go through with it anyways. Why? Why? I'm sorry. Why? There's no console. Amico's not coming. It's not coming. There's no Amico. I'm sorry, there's no Amico. It's not coming. And if they do somehow make an Amico at some point, they need to make a traditional console. Just make something that plays cartridges. It doesn't even have to be high-end crap. And it can be pixel art stuff. Oh my god. What are they thinking? What is going on here? What is happening? Oh my god. This is so stupid. Yeah. Oh god. Do I really want to read through this? Oh god, there's so much. Well, there's not a lot here. Do you want me to go ahead and read it? Let's go ahead and read it real quickly. Okay, so purchase of Intellivision trademarks and games unites competing brands from the 70s and 80s. Atari, one of the world's most iconic consumer brands and interactive entertainment producers, announced today it has purchased the Intellivision brand and certain games from Intellivision Entertainment LLC. Intellivision Entertainment LLC will rebrand and continue its business as of developing and distributing the Amico brand game console. There's no console. It's not coming. With a license from Atari to continue to distribute new versions of the Intellivision games on the Amico console. There's no console. It's not coming. It's never going to come. And if it does come, I don't think it should be the original premise or whatever. I said it earlier. The original idea for the Amico. That shouldn't be it. If they're going to go ahead and make a console and call it the Amico, just make something that uses cartridges. Just make something that uses cartridges. And don't force developers to do HD 2D visuals. Don't fucking do that. It's stupid. Don't do that. It's so dumb. Oh. Atari will seek to expand digital and physical distribution of legacy Intellivision games, potentially create new games, and explore brand and licensing opportunities as part of a long-term plan to create value from Intellivision properties. Quote, uniting Atari and Intellivision After 45 years, ends the longest running console war in history, said Mike Micah. I've heard that name before. Who the hell's Mike Micah? Digital Eclipse. Studio head at Digital Eclipse, an Atari owned game studio. The first Intellivision home video game console was released by Mattel Electronics in 1979, and the console platform sold an estimated 5 million units through 1990. Atari and Intellivision arguably fought the first console war of consequence in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Mattel went as far as enlisting the actor George Plimpton to appear in a series of ads comparing the two systems, as well as 8-minute-long video shown at the Gamescom trade show. Quote, "This was a very rare opportunity to unite former competitors and bring together fans of Atari and television and the golden age of gaming," said Wade Rosen, chairman and CEO of Atari. The purchase includes the rights to more than 200 titles from the Intellivision portfolio and the Intellivision trademarks. Atari has been a valuable partner, and we have every confidence they will be responsible steward of the. I'm falling apart here reading this, but yeah, it's right there. I'm falling apart reading this. I can't do it. So there's no Amico console. There's no console. I don't think there's ever gonna be a console. I'm so sick of this shit. You're dangling the carrots in front of retro gaming boomers. Okay, and I'm not one of them, by the way. I didn't care about video games until the NES came out. When the NES came out, I gave a shit. When the NES came out, a spark just lit in my brain. I was like, games! Because I had played video games up until arcade games were great. I loved arcade games, but as far as home console games go, I didn't give a shit. Atari graphics were terrible. Frickin' Intellivision graphics were terrible. ColecoVision graphics were terrible. They were all terrible to me. The visuals were terrible. Everything about all that stuff was terrible to me. And I just didn't care. The NES comes along, and all of a sudden I look at, the visuals and everything, and it's like, I know what I'm looking at. It's comprehensible. That's one of the things about the NES. The NES, if there's one thing that it did, is it made what you were looking at comprehensible. In other words, you sat there and you went, I can comprehend what I'm looking at. I know what I'm looking at. Atari, ColecoVision, and television. Half the time, I had no goddamn clue what I was looking at. I don't know what they're thinking. Dangling that carrot, that's the thing that's getting me. Because there's going to be dipshits coming out of the woodworks. See, it is coming. It is coming. Those same guys that kept kissing Tommy Tallarico's ass. I was not one of them. And then there was the other dude. Who was the dude that was in charge of the Coleco Chameleon, which never happened? Oh God. Do you want to know what the real Coleco Chameleon is? I mentioned it a while ago. The real Coleco Chameleon is the Evercade versus. There's your Coleco Chameleon. It plays games from every console of the past on these cartridges and whatnot. It's not a great console. Their cartridges are just SD cards. Yeah, I said it. It's just SD cards plopped inside. Very small SD cards that only hold enough for those few games that have to be on them. And that's it. And most of the emulation, if I'm not mistaken, is in the hardware. But it is just emulation, snatching up the games off those cartridges, or at least, listing them for you. Real quickly, just accessing pictures and whatnot and listing them for you. These are the games that are in this cartridge. But that's the closest you're going to get to that. And I feel like, okay, if Atari and Intellivision are going to make a console, if they're going to make a console, do that. Do that, but better. Make something like the Evercade, but better. I mean, that's your only hope at this point. Don't worry about the gimmicky little weird controls. Even Nintendo said F that for the most part. There's still some gimmicks going on with Nintendo, but the whole family thing together and whatnot, and using controls or whatever they're doing, I don't know. It was stupid. Tommy Tallarico was stupid. Yeah, and I hope he sees this. Tommy, you're a dipshit. All right? Yes, you are a dipshit. You are a ding dong. You are a dippity doo dah day. You had no idea what you were doing. You shouldn't have been responsible. Then you took a bunch of money and spent it on like an office or something. I saw that little thing where you were like giving you had these offices or a headquarters or something. I was like, why are you spending all the money on this? Whatever money you were making in or got or whatever, you should have been putting into the product first and foremost. You effed up, dude. Once the product got out the door, once the product started making money and everything, then you can build up your little empire. Like, that's business. Isn't that supposed to be like business 101? I might be wrong. Like, I think that's more important. Jesus Christ. There is no Amico. Okay? No Amico is coming. The console isn't coming. And if it does come, it needs to be something simple. It needs to just be a retro console with new cartridges or whatever. That's what it needs to be. Whatever the hell that they're thinking, I don't know. But I hate this. I hate that dangling carrot. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. This has been The Goof. And I'm going to go now. Sayonara.